All right. So, welcome to the training. Today, I want to talk with you about how to pass your Civil FE exam by having a personal tutor or coach. Now, understanding the importance of having a tutor or a coach can be the difference between you passing and failing your FE exam. And so to the left, you can see I got my results back maybe a year and some change ago, and I finally saw that green sign that I had passed. And so I'm smiling as I'm talking about it, and it felt so good to know that now I could get my PE. Now I could make more income. Now, that wasn't something stopping me from, leveling up in my career. And so I want to dive into this and show you some of the benefits of having, a personal tutor. All right. So here's what I did not do when I decided to take my exam. I didn't invest in resources. I didn't rush. So I was willing to take time to study and practice material in order to pass my exam. I also didn't blame my university for any lack of knowledge, any lack of concepts, any lack of understanding, on this exam. And then I also did not pass on my first time. So took me 3 attempts to pass, right? And so I learned the hard way on how to prep for the exam. All right, so why do you care? All right, well, probably why you're on this training is because you want to pass this FE exam, right? You want to go ahead and have the certification. You don't want to fail, and you would rather get some help, have somebody walk you through and save you a few months or even years of time so that you get the certification and you're not having to worry about, failing over and over. And you want to make more income, right? This can help bring you a ton more money. And so you're wanting to invest in maybe some resources. So here's a screenshot that I received from one of my students. They texted me that they had passed, and like they do typically, they release the results on Wednesdays, and I was so happy that this student they got they got this result. All right, so who is this training for? I want to make sure that the right people are watching this. And for some, it's just not the training that is for you. All right. So this is for people who want to ensure that they pass the Civil FE exam. Like, you don't want to be guessing whether you're going to pass this exam. Like, you for sure want to pass. You're looking to get some help, right? Somebody to walk you along, share the right resources, give you proper feedback, and, make your time of studying be efficient. You may be wanting to tidy up on some topics. So you may feel a little bit, like you struggle maybe with mechanics of materials, but you're good at structural analysis, and you're good at the mathematics section, but some of the things you just want to get a little bit better at. So as you feel more confident on the test. And then you're also willing to study on your own, right? You don't expect someone who's tutoring you to, give you take hours and hours of their time and take the test for you, right? You're willing to study, put in some work outside of the tutoring. And so this training is not for someone who thinks that they can do it on their own, right? If you think currently that you can do it on your own, then I'm sure that you can. And there are resources out there if you need them. I have created resources for people who want to self-study. So if that's you, this training is not for you. If you're trying to rush to take the exam, like if your exam is tomorrow or in a week, this is probably not the training for you. And then someone who doesn't want to invest into your career, we all know that, you know, having this FE is going to bring at least 5 to 15 to 20 grand more into your bank account each year. If not a lot more than that, especially once you're eligible to get your PE, right? So, you want to be someone who's willing to invest into your career. So who the heck am I, right? You may have seen me from YouTube, or you may be seeing me from Google. But basically, I am a FE civil coach and mentor. So I work with individuals, you know, to ultimately help them pass their civil FE exam. Like I said, I failed it twice. So I know the feeling, the frustration of, you know, going after something, putting in time and thinking you're doing the right stuff and you're not, and you end up walking away with the result that you don't want. And so I also help individuals increase their income. So I've created many success stories, and as you can see here, like, I have comments, I have testimonials, I have people that reach out to me constantly, post me on their stories, right? And share the value that I'm bringing. One of these comments says, "You're a lifesaver." And I appreciate all of this. But ultimately my goal is to, you know, help you pass this FE exam. My audience, even on Instagram, has grown to over 30,000 people. So I'm really wanting to impact more and more people. But it's just really exciting. And I have a deep desire and passion to help people increase their income. And one of those ways is, you know, helping you pass the civil FE exam. All right. So I want to share with you my step-by-step process that allows me to create so many success stories. And it's a 3-step process, and it's really simple. Not saying it's easy, and it doesn't take effort and work. But the first one is understanding the concept. So you must understand the concept in order to pass. Number 2 is you must do the right problems to pass. And then number 3 is I train you for the game, right? I get you ready for your exam and ready for you to pass. So I want to go through these in a little bit more detail. So what do I mean by understand the concept? So when it comes to problems, you want to know what all of the variables that are associated with a particular problem. So I have in a screenshot here, as you can see, this is a dynamics section of the FE handbook, and you need to be able to know how to navigate that, right? But not only that, for this particular equation, it is in the particle rectilinear motion section. And so the variables that are associated with this particular problem is velocity, your final velocity, then your initial velocity, then your acceleration, and your initial distances, right? And final distance. So you need to know what these variables are and how they are associated with this particular problem, right? Very important as you're understanding concepts. All right. Another thing as you're understanding concepts is you want to make sure you've watched enough videos and content on the concept. There are plenty of people, including myself, that break things down simple, digestible, so that you can understand what's happening with the problem. So this is not so overwhelming. You see this formula for the first time on the exam, you're going to be confused because you don't know what the heck is going on. But if you've seen it, you understand the concept. You understand what happens if I increase the final velocity. What happens if I decrease the acceleration? And I can get answers from this, then I fully understand the concept. So that's one thing that is super important for you to be able to master in order to pass this exam. And there are going to be tons of conceptual questions on the test. All right. So that brings us to, are you doing the right problems, right? Are you following the handbook? And, you know, there is so much material out here that you can be studying, and it can be the wrong material. So just because you're studying a lot of material doesn't mean it is the right material. So the FE handbook, I took a screenshot because I want you all to follow along with me clearly. In this screenshot, the NCEES lays it out for us, what's going to be on the exam, right? They talk about how long the test is, how many questions will be on there, what are some of the units, what are some of the different topics that are going to be covered, and then how many questions on each of the topics roughly there will be. And so I highlighted some of this for you because you want to make sure that you are going through each of these topics, and I call them subtopics, that are highlighted because they go through on your exam and test you line item by line item. So in this particular screenshot, one of, I think, the 14 different sections is mathematics and statistics. Now, a part of mathematics and statistics, you have analytic geometry, single variable calculus, vector operations. So are you studying the right material, and are you following this handbook, and are you doing enough practice problems, right? Okay. So we want to train for the game. So you've done enough practice problems, you understand the concept. Now it's time to get in the game, practice for the game, so that when game time has come, you know all the ins and outs. So I've given you an example of football, and I'm talking about like the NFL, right? And so you have two teams playing football, right? But before they actually play, typically what they'll do is they will study film, and they will watch what the other team typically does so that they can stop them, right? They can keep them from doing what they want to do. So ultimately that they win, right? But there's some things that they need to be ready for, right? They need to prep for the game as far as knowing what plays that the other team is going to typically run. They need to be in enough shape so that when they get in the game, they're not super tired. They need to understand how to manage time, right? So similar to how you would train for a football game is how you would train for this FE handbook. You want to time yourself as you're doing practice problems, similar to how you're going to be timed on your actual exam. You want to challenge yourself. Mix up the equations. Make up different equations. As far as not make up different equations, but, switch your variable numbers and see, if you increase one thing, what happens to your answer, right? So challenge yourself within those questions. And then put in overtime. work them forward, backward, sideways, do whatever you got to do to put in, more time than is needed so that when you get in the actual exam day, you're ready, right? All right. So there are a few problems that you may face, and that's okay, right? Problems can be solved, right? So one of the problems that you could face, may face, is you don't know where to start. I listed out all those different subtopics like analytic geometry and mathematics and statistics and all these different topics, right? And you might just not know where to start, how to fully understand the concepts, where to go to find these videos, where to go to find these particular practice problems, right? You also may experience not feeling confident in all areas. So you might feel confident in dynamics, but you might not feel confident in structures or transportation. So there is also some blind spots that you may face, like time management, like test taking skills, like effectively being able to use the handbook. You also could experience like needing clear explanations. So the material that you're using to study is not clear and it leaves out important key information that could be keeping you from fully understanding the concepts, right? Okay. So what is the cost of not taking action, right? So you may be in this phase, and I know that I was once in this kind of cycle, and this is a cycle you don't really want to be in, right? So if you're currently here, just think about it and be aware of it, right? So you are a civil engineer, and like we all know, civil engineers typically always are busy, whether it's having plans due, whether it's always out on a job site testing in the field, whatever it may be, you are busy. So deadlines come up and you have to meet those deadlines. So you go from busy working then to studying the wrong material on and off, because one week you're taking maybe an hour a day to study, and the next week a deadline's due, so you cut all activity off from the FE and you focus primarily on your work. So then that drives you to the next stage, which is you're like, okay, I'm gonna pick a date and I'm going to take the test regardless. So then you cram and cram and cram. So you're cramming on top of studying the raw material, on top of studying on and off, on top of being stressed from busy at work. And so you get a result that is not in your favor. And you end up having to fail, paying $175, and then having to ultimately retake the test. All right. So this is a cycle. Busy working, studying the raw material on and off, pick a test date, you cram, you fail, then you got to retake, and then you get busy again. So it's this never ending cycle. So you don't want to be stuck in this. All right. So what is the solution, right? The solution is to get help. Sometimes you can't do everything on your own, and there's so much material, so many things that you may not know about, so much that goes into this exam. And if you are far removed from school, if you just don't understand the material, if you just, feel you're not confident, you're in that cycle, then you're going to want, some one-on-one coaching. That's the solution. And I want to share with you one of the guys that I've worked with. His name is Luke. and he's 23 years old. He doesn't have a college degree, but he has 4 years of engineering experience. He came to me, was like, "Hey James, I need some help. I need some one-on-one help." And we worked together for not a super long time, but we worked together for a pretty, enough time for him to, you know, be able to pass his exam. So he passed, which was super exciting. And so, working with me, I have not had anyone to come, through my program and not pass. So I have 100% pass rate. I would like, to continue that. And I think with the resources that we have and the one-on-one guidance that we have, it's going to be possible. But what I want to do is I want to play one of our coaching sessions just to kind of give you an idea of how interactive it is and what it looks like. Right. So let's play this.
So you got through that one, just remembering how to break up those your joints and your members.
Yeah, I did get RM. C didn't need that. J is 3. And I got 0. And that was the only. J and M were the only 2 things. Okay. So that's pretty easy to remember.
Yep. And if you need more practice, I don't know if you've looked at, I'm sure you have a ton of stuff, but if you go to that review guide that I sent, it has where you can practice statically, indeterminate, determinate for various different ones, so you can get more practice with it if you need it.
Okay.
So going to number 2. This one, it looks, I just wrote down that you skipped it in good time. So I'm also checking you on timing to make sure you're able to get through the problems.
Right.
And I thought it was a good decision for you to skip. One of the main things for hinges, and I don't know if this is in the manual, but hinges, you can always break up a hinge.
Okay. So from this session, we were going through, structural engineering. We're hitting each of, the topics that were going to be covered. And I basically was just walking him through, some of his blind spots, right? Him seeing that he wasn't effectively solving for the correct unknowns. That was a big one for him. Being able to, understand what exactly, he's solving for, and to be able to use that manual to get him there. That problem he specifically did, the manual showed him, the number of members and then like the joints and how to read that information, but just lack of practice and, not knowing necessarily what he was solving for, he got a little confused. So we talked through that. And so also he was one to want to understand why do I need to do this. And one of the things that I pointed out to him is you don't need to necessarily understand why. Just solve the problem. You're probably never going to see this or not going to see much of this in the field. So we're trying to pass the exam. We're not trying to solve Newton's laws and figure out how Thomas Edison figured out how to, turn on lights and all this other stuff. We are just using the formulas that we're given, and we're solving for the unknown, right? So that was one of the coaching sessions. It was amazing to see that he passed his exam on his first try with no college degree. And by working with me, using some of the, review resources that I had, he was able to pass, and that's all I can ask for, right? He put in the time, he put in the work as far as with the review guide. And let's just take a second and look at the review guide. I think that's important for you all to be able to see. Okay. So like we talked about before, right? The fundamentals of engineering, exam, it had on the NCEES handbook, it shows us what topics are going to be there. So like I said, analytic geometry, single variable calculus, vector operations. Well, what I've created is a document, and this comes with any personal one-on-one coaching that you do, right? I've created a document that hits all of your checkpoints, right? This is the Pass Now full study guide, right? So analytic geometry, right? We look at, first of all, the concepts. So I'm giving you videos on the actual concept. It's simply explained. It's a little bit of practice within that video or those videos, depending on if I give you 1, 2, or a few. And then I give you a section where you can do practice problems on that particular subtopic. So analytic geometry, do you understand the concept? Secondly, have you done practice problems on that concept? Now, after you've done that for each of mathematics and statistics, ethics of professional practice, then I say, hold on. Let's train for the game. Let's time ourselves, right? And put us in test-like scenarios so that we can make sure that we pass. So that's what we do. I give you questions on analytic geometry, and I hit those different points and make sure that you're able, what is this, vector operations right here. I make sure you're able to hit those key points so that you can pass on the exam and that there's no confusion, absolutely no confusion on the test. Right, this is 50 at the time of this, and I do add to this document and make updates if the test changes. This is, as of right now, 54 pages. So you got to think all the videos, all of the concepts that you can understand, all of the practice problems, all of the training for the game that you're going to have at your fingertips. It's just literally insane. So just wanted to share that with you all, as that is also a part of the resources that you would get with one-on-one coaching. All right. So the solution, if you're working with someone, they need to be able to work with you, one-on-one, be able to find some of your blind spots. So this is Daniel. Now, Daniel, he failed 5 times. On his 6th try, guess what? He finally passed. And funny story. Well, we'll first talk about his blind spots. His main blind spots was time management and being able to, him getting stuck on certain problems when he needed to just move on, or whatever it may have been. And then him also being able to effectively solve for the unknown. So we were going back and forth, texting or whatever, and asked him how he felt about the exam, as you can see in the screenshots. And he said he beat the clock using my method. It was tricky, but he did his best, right? And then on a Wednesday, like the results are typically come out on the Wednesday, he says, Jimmy, I passed. He says, Jimmy. My name is James, right? And so I laugh about it. And he said, he just got the results, right? But why did he say Jimmy? And so as you're thinking about working with the tutor, you need to understand the person that you're working with, and make sure that they're really passionate about working with you. And so I know why he said Jimmy. So he has a brother named James, but he calls him Jimmy. And so it was ironic because he ended up deciding to work with me because my name was James, and it just seemed like a better fit. And so he said Jimmy because he was so excited that I guess he felt he felt like I was his brother, which is crazy. But I mean, we worked together. And so now Daniel receives so many, he's received so many offers, and he can be promoted. He'll make more income. It's just amazing to see his success. So I'll play, I think this was from us just talking after a little bit, and we'll listen in.
So finally, there was a list of two, you and engineer. So it was like two competing, two bells trying to ring, and one rings right area. Then they were competing right there.
Mm-hmm.
And no, Jimmy. I have my brother called James. Anyway. And the minute it stopped, and they started saying, and I usually call him Jimmy. That's why I use that one. And I said, okay, maybe saying I need help from my brother. That's what I say. That's how it came in. And I said, I'm going to talk to him.
Gotcha.
And I don't regret it.
So he doesn't regret it. He passed. He's so excited, with his journey, just because he took the next step and decided to go ahead, work with me, and ultimately, make more income. So very excited about Daniel's success. All right. So the solution, all right, again, this is the email I received, and it's crazy because I actually didn't work with this guy, right? Never seen this guy a day in my life. And I still can't see him because I can't see an image of his, face from his email. But he sends a message, and in the subject it says FE exam results, right? It's from Braden Beck. It says, "Good morning, James. Thanks to your self-study guide and videos, I was able to pass my civil FE exam last Saturday. Your step-by-step practice problem videos were easy to follow and helped me in preparation for my exam." Right? So, study guide and videos that I had were very helpful to him. And he says, "I hope others are able to find your resources like I did. Keep up the good work." So I'm so happy that he passed. I'm so happy that the resources that I provide are creating success stories. And so I say to you, I want the same thing to happen. All right. So today only, right? We've been on this call for a little while now. We've, been in this training rather for a little while. And, I want to reward you for, taking action and being able to see value in the resources that I provide and take advantage of them. So today only, right? You're not having to sign up for some super expensive program. What we can do is I will go ahead and give you 50% off a consultation call. All right. This consultation call will allow for us to, first of all, just talk, see where you're currently at, see if personal tutoring would be a good option for you. And, I work with people, up as long as 12 weeks. Not 12 weeks, I'm sorry. Yeah, 12, is it? Yeah, 12 12 weeks sounds crazy, but it is. It's literally 12 weeks. So, yeah, typically my longer programs are 8 to 12 weeks. So, yeah, I'm offering consultation call 50% off. And this is a steal, literally. So, just wanted to open the door for us to talk, for you to tell me where you're at, and see if I can help and get you that pass that I know that you desire. All right. So even if we don't work together, that's completely fine. Like, some people just need, a confidence boost. All right. Let's look at Jared. Jared, me and him talked. He basically said that I helped him out tremendously with just planning for his FE exam. I sent him some resources that allowed him to go ahead and write out the study dates that he wanted to do, and kind of gave him a plan as to how he could break up all this material into bite-sized, digestible, material. That way he can ultimately take and pass his test. So that's what he needed from me. So I was able to provide that. All right. Vinny had a call with me. It was great. He asked a lot of questions. And he just wanted to understand the mechanics of the test a little bit better. Or Joanna, right? I talked with her, and I checked up with her, and it helped her to feel, way more confident in what she needed to do to pass. So it's just, some of these things it helps when you can talk to somebody on the phone versus just trying to wing it and being in this cycle, this repetitive cycle, right? So, really, thank you for watching. Go ahead, if you want to have someone work with you one-on-one, do some personal tutoring, some personal coaching, you're willing to invest in your career, and want to, get a huge return back on your investment, you're going to want to go ahead and book a call. And I hope you can take advantage of the special offer that is today only. And like I said, I appreciate you for watching, and I look forward to your continued success and hearing that you pass your civil FE exam. All right. Until next time, see you later. Peace.